Hello, listeners. Before we start, I just want to remind you, you can listen to Nighttime early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Include it with Prime. Hello, listeners. I have some exciting news to share, but this is also going to be a bit of a funeral, or maybe a celebration of life. 10 years ago, in September of 2015, the very first episode of Nighttime was produced. The topic was a UFO sighting my grandparents witnessed above Cape Breton Island in the mid-'80s.
I was driving up a place called Monroe's Point, and all of a sudden I saw this thing coming through the sky, and it hovered right above my car and it stalled my engine. I looked up, and it was a big disc, round disc. It was tremendous, maybe 20 or 30 feet in diameter.
When I released that episode, the name Nighttime was simply chosen as a placeholder, as I was working on the episode in the evenings, hence it being my nighttime podcast. But despite everything being that poorly planned out, it seemed to work. In the decades since that first episode, the show has produced over 1,000 episodes, shared stories from every corner of this country, and has been heard all around the world. But during that same decade, as I was busy toiling away, podcasting has changed dramatically. We've seen the rise of celebrity-hosted shows, podcasts as video, and so many other factors have reshaped the medium and led to Nighttime feeling like the product of a bygone era. So now, after 10 years, it's time for a change. Nighttime, as you know it, has come to an end. But something fresh, something better equipped to keep things going for the next 10 years, is going to replace it. Now, before I explain, I want to start by reassuring those among us that are change-adverse. The hosts, the show's contributors, and all the active series like Keep Canada Weird and Encounters with Creeps aren't going anywhere. But we will be saying goodnight to Nighttime. Over the month of September, the podcast feeds, the social media pages, and all related platforms are going to become home to a new show, the Canadian Gothic. Canadian Gothic will keep the same spirit and feel as Nighttime, but it's going to be better suited to tell Canada's most fascinating and unusual stories in the current and in the future podcast world. So I know that all sounds well and good, but you're probably asking, what's going to be different? First off, the name and the visual aesthetics of the Canadian Gothic are better going to inform people of the show's content and its focus. You'd be surprised how many people think Nighttime was a member of that growing trend of podcasts designed to put you to sleep, and I don't even need to mention the many issues that come with having a name that doesn't suggest a focus on covering dark and unusual Canadian stories. Also, the new show is going to have a more consistent release schedule. Over the past 177 weeks at the time of recording this, Keep Canada Weird has released an episode each and every Friday, and this consistent schedule has made that series appointment listening for many out there. This approach is going to be applied to all other types of content going forward, and a full schedule will be shared in the near future. The next change, Canadian Gothic, is going to have a broadened Canadian focus. I'm going to be making an effort to better balance stories from all parts of Canada, as opposed to predominantly featuring stories from the East Coast, where I am. So if you got any story ideas from your part of the country, send me a recommendation through the new website. It'll be launched soon, and the URL is going to be thecanadiangothic.com. Another change, Canadian Gothic is going to branch out into other forms of content. Podcasts, of course, will remain the primary focus of everything we do, but the Canadian Gothic will also produce more video and short blog-type content that will supplement or maybe expand on the episode's topics. So, in short, Nighttime is done, and a new and better show called the Canadian Gothic will be taking its place. And just to be clear, you don't need to do anything. The podcast feeds and the social media pages that you follow will all be automatically updated. And as I do that, you'll probably notice some weirdness, so forgive me as renovation's happening. So that's about it, an announcement and a funeral. But let me end by thanking you all for 10 great years of Nighttime, and I look forward to taking you along with us on the next part of this journey. A journey through Canadian crime, mysteries, and weird. A journey through the Canadian Gothic.
You are listening to Canadian Gothic.